Trying to make the world starve, Russian drones destroy grain warehouses at Ukraine ports.
Here's a summary of the article.
Russian drones launched a 4-hour attack on Ukraine's Danube ports of Reni and Izmail, destroying grain warehouses and other facilities, as Moscow appeared to escalate its attempts to strangle Kyiv's globally important agricultural exports. The attacks, using Iranian-supplied drones, follow Russia's withdrawal this month from the Black Sea deal that allowed Ukraine to export its grain, and threats by both Moscow and Kyiv to target civilian carriers visiting ports. Commenting on the attacks, the governor of Ukraine's Odessa region, Oleh Kuiper, told Ukrainian television, "Russia is trying to fully block the export of our grain and make the world starve." The drone attacks follow a rise in Russian strikes on infrastructure associated with Ukrainian grain exports in the last week. The grain deal, which required ships bound for Ukraine's ports to be inspected before docking, had permitted the safe shipment of grain from southern Ukraine after Russia's ships had blockaded the ports, triggering global food crisis. Reni is situated by Lake Kahul, a few miles inland on the Danube, which has become the main shipping route for the export of grain from Ukraine since the collapse of the Black Sea deal on the 17th of July. The Russian attempts to hinder export via the Danube route would leave only EU-backed solidarity lanes for grain export, rail and road transit through Moldova.
This post received a score of 5,100, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Russia is risking bringing other nations into this fight.
This is what they want. The war, once exposed as a farce, means at least Putin is out of power. It threatens the whole Kremlin mafia system. A world conflict will not make Russians reflective on their guilt or contrite. It will make them angry and give them an external enemy to fight. They need to know they are in this situation because their leaders suck. This is a familiar and recurring theme for Russia. They need to murder everyone associated with the current government. It's the only way.
Why do they want it though? They'd be destroyed. Even their allies are pissed at them.
They're trying to dig their way out of a hole.
You know what would make things better for us? Pissing off the entire world instead of just the West.
Bluffers gonna bluff.
This war has shown us just how absolutely pathetic Putin actually is.
Russia is attacking the world by proxy. He needs to be sanctioned so heavily that even his allies need to think twice.
His allies already have buyer's remorse since a lot of the grain would have gone to Africa and Asia, where most of his allies are. They were dumb enough to think he would keep their interests in mind as well as his own. Now we are all learning how aggressive and ruthless he can be.
And stupid. When you stab your allies in the back, eventually they stop being allies.
He's trying to force the world into pressuring Ukraine into a bad peace treaty that wouldn't be worth the paper it's written on. He would simply spend a year or two restocking the military and then just attack again, banking on the world growing tired of being involved with war and the economic crisis it creates, to just let him accomplish what he's trying to do now. Also, you can bet that he would also be banking on the further rise in right-wing governments across the West to be less willing to help Ukraine.
That wouldn't be the first time. I recommend reading about the Great Hunger in Ukraine. That was also Russia's doing.
Ukraine is a net exporter. Losing a few thousand tons of grain isn't going to cause a second Holodomor.
No, but now Russia is potentially causing another great hunger, but outside of Ukraine.
They failed to freeze Europe and they will fail to starve the world. They are ideologically bankrupt and can't seem to grasp that all of this is a losing battle. Just give up already, Russia, it's not working.
Wouldn't be the first time Russia starved Ukraine.
Wouldn't even be the second time either.
I'm reminded of the Chernobyl podcast where the writer was talking about the reasoning behind writing the scene where the old woman lists off all the bad shit that's happened to Ukraine.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.